If you've been around this channel for any length of time, you'll know that when we handle gameplay around here, we normally are looking at 2v2. And while 2s is the most popular mode in Rocket League, it's not the one used in most competitive situations. And when I do find myself in a 3s game, it is pretty obvious that my skills are not up to the same level that they are in 2s. So in today's video, we are going to make a major push to improve our 3v3 gameplay. And to do that, we're going to be showcasing how you can utilize a single hour of time to make a huge amount of improvement. So to kick off our hour here, we're going to be looking at a replay from a recent 3s match. Now, this game is going to be a loss, but what we're really looking for here is all of the major mistakes that cause us to be out of position, leaving our team in a bad spot, not considering what's going on with the opponents. These things are all very important to help us determine how we can play a more solid game and how we can give our team a better chance to be successful. So let's go ahead and dive right on in here, and we'll kind of talk through all of the moments that we see a bit of a pretty bad mistake that's going to leave us in poor positions. So we're actually going to see one right out the gate here, and it's because we are all the way back on our side of the field over here, with both of our teammates pretty hard pushed up into our opponent's side. And the problem with this is that we're clearly looking for a boost, which realistically, I don't even know if that boost is there. It is not. So one of our teammates has taken that, and they probably said it on the kickoff because this game was played in comms, so we probably knew that that boost wasn't there. But instead of just being smart like we would be in 2s, just taking these small pads around the field and staying pushed up into a spot where we would be able to support our team, we instead go all the way back. And this creates a pretty big problem, because now the ball is all the way up here, we're all the way back here. So if our team does get beat here, they are both out of the play, and there's now this massive gap between where the ball is and where we are, meaning that we have a lot of ground that we need to try to cover as the opposing team is working the ball downfield. Whereas instead, if we had just gotten beat to this boost and turned into the midfield, grabbed, these 3 pads maybe across, have 36 over here, now if this ball pops out this way, we're able to go ahead and pounce directly back onto it and maintain that pressure for our team. But in going all the way back here, we just create a very easy opportunity for our opponents to be able to clear the ball without any inputs from us. So we're going to need to be very careful of that and just make sure that going forward, we try to maintain our position on the field in a spot that allows us to support our team as we would do in a game of 2s. We're going to see moment number 2 right here as we just pop the ball forward. And now the big problem here is that in 2s, we might recognize, oh, hey, we have a little bit of space here. Let me actually try to make a play with this ball to actually put our opponents in a dangerous position where they have to try to make a pretty difficult save. That's what our brain might say in 2s, but here in 3s, we instead aren't aware of where all the other players are. And the issue with this is like, okay, in 2s, there's a lot less players on the field that you need to keep track of. In fact, there's only 3 of them. But you go to 3s, and now all of a sudden there are 2 more players that you need to be aware of at all times. And when you're trying to keep track of all that information, you can start to make pretty poor decisions just simply because you don't have full awareness of where all the other players are. So one of our biggest challenges is we're going to need to start to learn how to keep track of every other player on the field so that we know when we have a chance to actually make a play on the ball. Because you can see right here that if we were smart and considered where the open space might be, there is a wide open backboard currently as all 3 defenders are just crowding onto the goal line. So if we go to the backboard here with our crazy amount of boost in this position and go for the double tap, we're going to have them in a very, very bad spot. But instead of looking for where the opportunity is, we're so unaware of what the other players are doing that we're just worried about getting the first touch we can get. And the first touch we can get is about the worst thing we could possibly do. Because instead of giving ourselves an opportunity, we give the ball away for free to our opponents and give them a beautiful opportunity to clear the ball. So going forward, along with the whole not rotating all the way back, we need better awareness of where everybody is on the field. That is going to be a very key aspect to our ability to play 3s to a higher level. And then even right here, we're going to get into what I like to call Panicville, where we just make the world's worst touch you've ever seen in your life. And again, I don't really know what's going on, because in 2s, we play this far calmer. Like, if you've watched any of the gameplay videos in 2s, we're not typically worried about a ball bouncing to the backboard like this, because all we need to do is lightly catch it on our nose and control it out somewhere, either down the field, to the sidewall, literally anywhere, as long as we keep our car in contact with that ball. But for whatever reason, we get a little bit antsy in a 3s game, and all of a sudden we're just worried that someone's going to be challenging the ball immediately. And yes, 3s is a faster mode for sure, but it doesn't mean that every single touch you have on the ball is going to be immediately challenged. And if it is going to be immediately challenged, you tend to have a pretty good idea that there's going to be an opponent there. But as we can see, looking out into the midfield, there's nobody here. Like, yeah, this guy's here, but he's facing away from the ball, so there was no concern about anyone challenging this. But instead of just recognizing the space and again, making a play with the ball, we just end up getting the world's worst touch that pops it out into the midfield. And thankfully, in this situation, our teammate is ready to jump on in and save us from ourselves with this absolutely horrendous touch. But if that teammate hadn't been ready, there's every chance that we are just passing the ball out into the midfield for our opponents to play. So need to be very careful about making sure that we recognize the space we have and focus on making the most effective play we can every time we have an opportunity to play the ball. So in this play here, we're going to be giving up the first and only goal of the game, and you might be able to see where we are at fault for this. Yes, our team does not do a great job of staying organized on the back line, but we most certainly put them in a terrible spot here with our decision making right after this touch on the ball. So the ball goes up in the air. And now, for whatever reason, despite the ball being way up here and us already being on the wall, able to easily turn up it to go apply pressure and possibly challenge this ball, maybe go to the backboard, again, focus on making a play on the ball, we decide, no, the better idea is let's just drive back down to the ground, showcase that we're not immediately going for this, let our opponents know that we're not immediately going for this, and therefore allow them the knowledge that they need to be able to jump up into the air fairly quickly to be able to transition this back down the field. Now that would be bad enough if we just did that and just drove forward and recognized, all right, we're beat and drove back. That would be bad enough. But it gets even worse when we do that, we drive back down to the ground, but then rather than just recognize that we're probably going to get beat to the ball and just drive back, which would be at least slightly intelligent in this situation, we just decide that we're going to jump anyway, because who needs awareness of where the opponents are when we're staring right at the ball? So we're going to send ourselves into the air, and lo and behold, we get absolutely dusted. Who could have possibly seen that coming? And now we're so far out of the play that our team has to basically defend 3v2, or in this case, I guess 2v2, because the other guy on the other team is all the way back over here with us. But they have to defend by themselves, and we put them in this position by allowing that clear to come down the field for free, because we didn't actually pay attention to where people were, didn't make any good decision on that ball, had multiple options that we could have gone for that would have been even okay, and we did back-to-back pretty much the worst things we possibly could have done. So need to be better in our decision-making, need to be more aware of what's going on around the field, and we need to put ourselves in smarter positions, both offensively and defensively, to be able to actually have an impact on the game. Because I don't know about you, but in most of these moments, it feels like we're not really doing much. We're kind of just going through the motions, and it's leaving us in a lot of very, very bad spots. So as this game wraps up, there was really a whole lot of nothing for that last bit there. But I think the improvements we need to look at come down to just a couple of things. Number one, we simply need to play smarter. We're making a lot of very poor decisions that are putting us and our team in very bad spots, leading to our opponents having free attacks down the field that we absolutely should not be giving up. Number two, we need to be better with both our offensive and defensive positioning. We need to be positioning ourselves in such ways that allow us to stay involved in the play, whether on offense or defense. Because if we're able to be involved in the play, it's one extra player that the opponents need to worry about. If we're taking ourselves out of the equation, now all of a sudden our opponents only need to worry about 2 players, and in doing so, it makes their lives much, much easier. And number 3, we simply need to play with better awareness. Better awareness of our teammates, better awareness of our opponents, better awareness of where the play is going in general. In 2s, we're pretty good at reading where the play is going and positioning ourselves accordingly. But all of a sudden we get into threes and we start to panic, we start to throw the ball away, we start to just put ourselves in terrible spots, and it all comes down to that awareness of what is actually going on. If we know where everybody is on the field, we can make much better decisions, which will help put ourselves in spots to be successful. So with these ideas understood, we're not going to go ahead and take these ideas and move into some ranked threes, and we're going to try to apply as many of these ideas as possible as we move through the rest of this hour. Game number 1 is here, and we understand our job. Need to play smart with awareness, with good positioning, and that's all there is to it. So let's get right into this and see how we get along. Just calmly wait here, free ball, play to the side. Can make a play on this, so let's focus on doing so. Flip over one. And just like that, we're basically going to create the goal. No problem, teammate. Feel free to finish that one on off. We'll go ahead and just move the ball down the field. And look at that. We were able to make a play on the ball immediately because we recognize the position we're in. Fascinating stuff, let me tell you. No reason to go too fast here. Teammate has a free save. Just calmly work our way back. Watch the demo. One opponent flipping back. One opponent's behind us, so need to be careful of that. 50. Just, again, try to make some kind of play on the ball. All of them are over here. Watch the bounce. We'll play it around into some open space. 50, that one. Down the field we go again. Turn ball came off so we can see. Teammate's gonna score it. Look at us go. Actually making some smart plays here. Recognize the challenge. Take ball came off so we can see where we're going. And just like that, we've turned this into a 3v2. Nothing to it. And just like that, we're going to score for making a play. Look at this. Recognize the space. Into the air we go. Get the resets. And use it to push it over the top of the defense. Look at us actually making a play on the ball. Actually recognizing our space. And it makes a massive difference in our gameplay. Crazy how that works. Again, awareness here. In a good spot here. This is going to get boomed back. Light touch. Down the field we go. Again, doing something with that ball. Can't really make a play here. That's fine. Bump one. Teammate coming in. Go around. Again, look to make a play that actually helps our team out. Just like that. And around we go again. Force out. And that's going to be game once again. And just like that, we're going to pick up yet another win. Huge there, just understanding where our space is and making sure we're making plays. It absolutely makes a massive difference, and you can see comfortably on top of the scoreboard there just from being smart with good awareness, good positioning, and we put ourselves in positions to be successful, and we are successful. And once again, right there, we just recognize the space that exists, wait for the ball to come to us, be in a good spot to continue to support our team, and just like that, we're going to pick up the first goal of this game as well. And again, we're just picking up pads in the midfield, and just like that, we're going to be able to be in a position to capitalize off this awkward touch from our teammates into the midfield, putting our opponents in a bad spot, and we're able to pounce on it. Once again, nothing fancy to it. We're just being smart in how we play around the field, and it's making a massive difference. And again, just focusing on making a play with the ball. We just go down the field, see where the challenges are coming from, pop the ball around, and teammate comes in and slots it on home. There's nothing to this. We are just being smart in our decisions, and it's allowing us to win games. And that's just another win in the book, and it looks like we have time for just one more. So let's see if we can keep this train rolling, keep the ideas flowing, and see if we can keep this momentum as we continue to make these improvements around the field. And then again, just right here, we're just hanging around, waiting to see what happens, in a good spot to intercept that play across. And then we put the ball in an awkward enough spot where our team is able to capitalize on it. Once again, just being aware of where the play is going and not trying to do too much, but just taking what we're seeing and utilizing it to the best of our ability. Again, we're not doing anything crazy here. We're just putting ourselves in spots where we can be successful. And that's gonna be that. Right as the timer expires too. Nothing too crazy. Just sitting around the field, looking for opportunities to present themselves, being aware of where people are, and not overstepping our job on the field. So many players want to be the flashy, I'm gonna take over this game and be everything for my team on both offense and defense, when in reality, you can more than happily just sit in comfortable positions around the field and put yourself in spots where your team needs you to allow your team to be successful. You don't need to do flashy things. You don't need to try to do too much. You can just confidently play your role around the field and allow your team to thrive around you. So all in all, a very successful hour of improvement. We diagnosed our issues and then went into the games and managed to correct a lot of those mistakes. Now, the extremely important thing is that we need to make these second nature in our gameplay. At the end of the day, if we get ourselves in a game and we stop thinking about what we thought about throughout today's video, we're just gonna go back to making the same mistakes. So we need to drill in these ideas into our gameplay so that we don't have to focus on them as much and we can put our focus in other areas of the game as well. So if you guys are really looking to improve your gameplay, this is by far the best way that you can utilize your time in the game. Go and look in your own replays and figure out where you might be having issues, and then go into the games and focus on those problem areas so that you can eliminate those issues from your gameplay. Of course, thank you everybody so much for watching. I really do appreciate each and every one of you who made it to this point in the video, and I do hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you did, make sure you click that subscribe button right down below so you make sure you don't miss any future Rocket League content. Additionally, if you'd like to be a bit more involved in the community we're building here, feel free to join my Discord, which I'll have linked down in the description. And as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. See you later, guys.
Thank you.